Hi everyone, welcome to the video. After the exceptional run across the crypto market, there has been a major drop over the past 24 hours. Several cryptos, including Bitcoin and Ethereum, have experienced double-digit losses. Although something that's important to remember, it's natural to have this pullback in the market after an exceptionally strong performance in recent weeks. If I go to the Bitcoin price chart, as we can see, we've experienced significant growth, especially since November. It was in the low 10,000 range and then it just skyrocketed, going up to 40,000 just a few days ago. And now, we're getting this pullback. I mentioned in a recent video this was going to happen. A similar phenomenon with Ethereum and across the market, as you will observe if you look at individual cryptos. Further price details towards the end of the video. So as a side note, for those waiting for another project updates video, Polkadot will be the next one in focus, so stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you would like to stay in the loop. Just a quick video in relation to Bitcoin, or focusing on Bitcoin in particular. I came across this CoinDesk piece in relation to this Bitcoin ETF, or what is being proposed and highly anticipated amongst many people. So for those who are not familiar with these, they're called exchange-traded funds. While a Bitcoin ETF would be a long-term positive, in the short term, it could hurt the price of the leading cryptocurrency as it would draw institutional money from the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Currently, the only way for some on Wall Street to gain exposure to Bitcoin, JP Morgan analysts wrote in a report. I encourage you to go through that. I'm not convinced by this because firstly, you need to consider who is writing this. JP Morgan, or Jamie Dimon, who is the CEO of the company, he's been giving mixed opinions about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies for a while. The last thing I saw written was very smart people entering the cryptocurrency space or something along those lines. So at least now he acknowledges the merits of it. But cutting to the chase, my theory about this is, and they're saying this to potentially put off some people, whether it's institutional or retail investors, at least in the short term, so that they have the opportunity to buy Bitcoin, at the relatively cheaper price when we get these dips, or where we are now. I'd say in the long term, this price would be fairly cheap. Looking at the predictions people are making, as you'd imagine, there is a vested interest. They want to buy up as much Bitcoin as possible, taking advantage of this. At least if the prices are lower, it would buy them time. Just my thoughts. And I should say before I continue, none of this is financial advice, and I'm not a financial advisor. I also want to mention, just to look at the bigger picture for some perspective, if I go to the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, according to this, it says assets under management $24.2 billion. And that's as of January the 8th. So this would be lower now. But nevertheless, when you consider that figure out of a market cap of 655 billion, and bearing in mind that there would be over-the-counter sales that would not be represented here. So this, I'd imagine, would be higher still. Grayscale would only hold, if you're comparing that figure to the market cap, the overall circulating market cap, I'd say now would be about 3 to 3.5% of the overall Bitcoin market cap. I don't see that having a significant impact. Retail investors are re-entering the space, and there are other institutional investors outside of New York or even the USA that are pouring funds into Bitcoin. What are your thoughts about this? And before I move on to the next article, something that's very important to think about, the Bitcoin stock to flow model. So in simple terms, it's comparing the current supply of Bitcoin, or the stock, relative to the amount of new Bitcoin coming into circulation. That relates to mining, which is the flow. And we know every 3.5 to 4 years, the amount of new Bitcoin being mined or produced is being halved. That, in relation to the gradually increasing stock, is going to make it even more and more scarce. This is a great chart here from digitalic.net. There's information here in tandem with the report from Plan B. They get quoted regularly. But as you can see, if you look at the line graph, it's only showing significant growth for BTC in the coming years. Just my thoughts and not financial advice. Many people share the same sentiment. I encourage you to look through that and the corresponding Medium article. And before I talk about the prices, just a couple of tweets from some notable crypto commentators, especially those that are Bitcoin bulls. We have Tim Draper, who he predicted, I think it was 10K by the end of 2017, and it got to nearly 20,000. And that was a prediction made in 2014, but I came across this tweet earlier today, so fresh off the press, and I do quote, "Banks don't like Bitcoin because it makes them less relevant. So you are seeing their attempted manipulation over the weekend. 250K by the end of 2022 or early 2023. End quote. Whilst I assume there would be some Bitcoin whales taking profits, what doesn't help the situation with the price or a sudden drop in the price is a lot of weak hands selling their Bitcoin or panic selling, assuming that the price is going to tank as it did back in 2017. A separate article or two that come to mind, this is from Bitcoin magazine back in April 2018. He predicts Bitcoin will soar to $250,000 in 4 years. So that would be the end of next year. One more, and this is from bitcoinist.com. Last year in September, he once again mentioned 250K. Well, he said that price prediction is conservative. Based on the recent surge and the dwindling supply of Bitcoin, I would not rule that out. Other than Tim Draper, you see various predictions made by Fundstrat Global Advisors, Tom Lee. He pops up frequently when it comes to crypto discussions. This article from Live Bitcoin News, BTC could reach $116,000 in 2021 from last week. I mean, what are your thoughts when you look at these headlines or these predictions made? How plausible are they? Or could something come along and potentially disrupt this major growth for Bitcoin? We're just wrapping up with the prices here. Despite the major drops, we've had a few winners, or very few I should say, in the space. So there's Horizon up 66%, Zcash 24.2% up, Neo has continued its solid performance recently, so that's nearly $24, up 8% for the week. Monero also up, so we're seeing privacy coins getting a bit of an uptick there. We're seeing privacy coins picking up slightly, although for how long will that be sustained? That's what I question really. Many people are skeptical of how well they'll do down the track, but as we can see, plenty of red, although once again, as a reminder, we're doing very well over the past 7 days, so this pullback is only normal. I don't think the Bitcoin price will be going below 30K. I could be wrong, of course, because there is still so much interest from retail and institutional investors to keep the price somewhat buoyant. It's different to what happened in 2017. If you zoom out and you look at the very sudden drop, back then there was not as much interest from the big players. But anyway, going back to the crypto prices, just some of the major cryptos, just looking at the major cryptos here. So Bitcoin, $35,250 per BTC. Ethereum, $1,100 per ETH. XRP, 28 cents. Litecoin, $144. Cardano, or ADA, just below 28 cents. Polkadot, $8.19. Binance Coin, $39.39 per BNB. Stellar, still doing all right for the week. It's at about 25 cents per XLM. Chainlink below $15 or thereabouts. It is $14.66. And we'll leave it there. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to stay up to date with my latest content. If you have something to say or you just want to say g'day, by all means, leave your feedback in the comments section. I hope you're all having a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening. Talk to you soon. See you later.